My life moved to a steady, predictable rhythm. It was a song I knew by heart, with verses for school, a chorus for family, and a bridge for my part-time job at the corner bistro. Most days felt the same, a comfortable loop of waking up, heading to my college classes, and then slipping on my apron for the evening shift. I lived in a small town where everyone knew everyone else's business, which was sometimes cozy and sometimes, honestly, a little too close for comfort. My family was my whole world, the anchor that kept me grounded. We lived in a 2-story house with a squeaky front porch swing and a garden my mom adored. It was a simple life, but it was mine, and I was content with its familiar tune. My family was a noisy, loving, chaotic bunch. I have an identical twin brother, Leo, who is older by 7 minutes and never lets me forget it. He's my other half, the person who understands me without words. We share a room, a love for old movies, and the same messy handwriting. Then there's Maya, our younger sister, who is the bright, bubbly center of our universe. She's the keeper of secrets, the family comedian, and the one who always knows how to make you smile, even on the toughest days. Our house was always filled with their laughter and arguments, a constant soundtrack to my everyday existence. We were a team, the three of us, navigating life together. Leo's best friend Sam was practically another brother to us. He had been around for as long as I could remember, a permanent fixture in our home. Sam was there for every birthday, every holiday, and every random Tuesday night pizza dinner. He had his own spot on our couch and knew exactly where my mom kept the good snacks hidden in the pantry. He'd walk in without knocking, his booming laugh echoing through the hallways. He was family, plain and simple. We all loved him, and he was the kind of friend you knew you'd have for life, a bond that felt unbreakable and true. My routine was my comfort zone. I'd wake up, grab breakfast with Leo and Maya, and then head to my classes. Afternoons were for studying, and evenings were for serving tables at the bistro. I liked the hum of the restaurant, the clatter of plates, and the easy conversations with the regulars. It was a life painted in soft, familiar colors. I never really thought about big changes or unexpected twists. My world was small, safe, and orderly. I believed I had everything figured out, that I knew exactly what tomorrow would look like. I had no idea that one ordinary afternoon was about to change everything. It was a lazy Saturday afternoon when the doorbell rang. I was in the living room trying to finish a history paper that was due on Monday. I figured it was just one of Maya's friends or maybe a neighbor. But when my mom opened the door, I heard Sam's familiar voice, followed by a softer, lighter one I didn't recognize. I looked up from my laptop, curious. There he was, standing in the doorway with his usual wide grin, and next to him stood a girl. I had heard Sam talk about his younger sister, Chloe, but I had never actually met her before. She had just moved back to town to attend the local community college. She stepped inside, and for a moment the whole world seemed to slow down. She had long dark hair that fell in soft waves around her shoulders, and the kindest eyes I had ever seen. She was wearing a simple yellow sundress that made her look like a burst of sunshine. She smiled shyly as my mom welcomed her in, and my heart did a little flip-flop. It was a strange, fluttery feeling that I had only ever read about in books. I quickly shut my laptop, feeling suddenly self-conscious about my old sweatpants and messy hair. She was so bright and new, like a song I had never heard, but instantly wanted to learn the words to. Leo came bounding down the stairs and pulled Sam into a boisterous hug, and Maya emerged from the kitchen with a plate of cookies. The house was suddenly filled with an energetic buzz. Sam introduced Chloe to everyone, and when her eyes met mine, she gave me a small, sweet smile. "This is Liam," Sam said, gesturing toward me. I managed a quiet hi, my voice sounding a little shaky. We only talked for a few minutes. She asked me about my major, and I asked her about her classes. It was a brief, simple conversation, but it felt significant, like the beginning of something important. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. They all sat in the living room, laughing and sharing stories, while I pretended to focus on my history paper. I couldn't concentrate at all. All I could think about was her smile and the way her eyes lit up when she laughed. I kept stealing glances at her, hoping she wouldn't notice. When it was time for them to leave, I felt a strange pang of disappointment. I watched from the window as they walked down the driveway. I thought that would be the end of it, just a fleeting moment, a beautiful girl I would probably never speak to again. Later that evening, I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling and replaying our brief meeting in my head. My phone buzzed on my nightstand, pulling me from my thoughts. I glanced at the screen, expecting a message from a friend or a notification from a game. Instead, I saw an unknown number. "Hey, it's Chloe," the message read. "I hope you don't mind. I got your number from Maya. It was really nice meeting you today." My heart started beating a little faster. I read the message again, and then a third time, just to make sure it was real. Chloe was messaging me. I couldn't believe it. A huge smile spread across my face. I immediately typed back, trying to sound cool and casual, not like my hands were slightly trembling. "Hey!" "Not at all. It was nice meeting you too," I wrote. Hitting send felt like jumping off a diving board. A few moments later, she replied, and just like that, we started talking. We talked about everything and nothing. We talked about her moving back to town, our shared dislike for history classes, and our favorite kinds of pizza. The conversation flowed so easily, so naturally. It felt like I had known her for much longer than just a few hours. Our late-night chats quickly became a new part of my routine. Every night after my shift at the bistro, I would look forward to seeing her name pop up on my phone screen. We would talk for hours, sharing little details about our day. I told her about the funny customers at the restaurant, and she told me about her art classes. We discovered we had so much in common, from our love for indie music to our dream of one day traveling the world. Each message felt like unwrapping a small gift, a little piece of her world that she was sharing with me. It was exciting and new, a secret little world that only the two of us shared. I started to see her not just as Sam's little sister, but as Chloe. She was funny, smart, and incredibly kind. She was passionate about her art, and she had a way of looking at the world that was so unique and beautiful. Through our messages, I was getting to know the person behind the pretty smile I had seen that afternoon. Our friendship was blooming in the quiet glow of our phone screens, a connection growing stronger with every good morning and good night text. I found myself thinking about her all the time, wondering what she was doing and eagerly waiting for her next message. Our digital friendship soon spilled over into the real world. We started meeting for coffee between classes and taking long walks in the park on sunny afternoons. Our first date, if you could call it that, was a trip to the local bookstore. We spent hours wandering through the aisles, pointing out our favorite books and reading passages aloud to each other. I learned that she loved classic novels, and she discovered my soft spot for fantasy epics. Being with her felt so comfortable, so right. The small, fluttery feeling I had when I first met her had grown into something deeper, something more real. The little moments were the ones that mattered most. Like the time she brought me a hot chocolate at the bistro on a cold, rainy night because she knew I had a long shift. Or the time I left a small doodle on her textbook, and she saved it like it was a masterpiece. We would share headphones on the bus, our shoulders brushing against each other as we listened to our favorite songs. Every small gesture, every shared smile felt like another thread being woven into the beautiful tapestry of our growing love. Our connection wasn't built on grand romantic gestures, but on a foundation of quiet understanding and simple, everyday kindness. One evening, we were sitting on my front porch swing, the same one I'd sat on 1,000 times before. But this time, everything felt different. The air was filled with the sweet scent of my mom's flowers, and the stars were just starting to appear in the darkening sky. We were talking about our dreams for the future, and I realized I couldn't imagine a future without her in it. I looked at her, and she was already looking at me, a soft smile on her face. In that quiet moment, I knew I was completely and utterly in love with her. It was a feeling that was both terrifying and wonderful. This was a new beginning, the start of an unexpected chapter in my life. The predictable rhythm of my days had been replaced by a beautiful new melody, one filled with excitement and hope. Love had found me when I wasn't even looking for it, in the most ordinary of places, on the most ordinary of days. It was a twist of fate, a sweet surprise that had changed everything. Holding her hand on that porch swing, I felt a sense of peace and overwhelming joy. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew that as long as she was by my side, it was going to be an amazing adventure.